Hello, ladies. Happy Friday. I'm so glad that you're joining us today. I just hope you'll bear with me as I tell you just a little bit of a story that happened to me a couple of years ago. So just so you know my background, my undergraduate degree and actually a part of my master's was actually in psychology. So just so you know, my background then is that I firmly believe in the power of therapy. There's been times in my life where I felt like I kind of needed to tweak my perspective a little bit, and so I sought outside resources to help assist me. And if you've ever been to a counselor before, I do suggest it for those times when you just need to process things and maybe get an outside perspective on your life. Well, a few years ago, I was struggling with my job, I was struggling with going to school, and just having a hard time in life, and I found myself just needing that little bit of help. And so I ended up finding a counselor that I could relate to, and she helped guide me through this rough patch in my life. But one of the most important lessons that I learned from her was actually how to create a vision of my future and how to focus on the fact that what I could see in that vision would actually become my future. So when she first introduced this idea of affirmations to me, I thought it was the craziest, silliest, stupidest thing ever, right? It reminded me of Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live, right? When it's like, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and God darn it, people like me. So as a homework assignment though, she gave me 5 index cards to take home and told me to write one affirmation, so a positive thought or a belief about myself on each one of those cards. I wanted something that I wanted to believe about myself or something that I wanted to become. And then I was supposed to read them out loud to myself every morning and every night, each one of them. And I thought she was off her rocker, but I went ahead and I took those cards anyways. Well, that night, I spent the night brainstorming the type of person I wanted to be and how I wanted to feel about myself. And I managed to come up with, 5 good statements that I could put down on the cards. However, after I did that, I just left it there and I never ended up reading them out loud to myself at all. Well, 2 weeks later, the time went by and I returned back to her office, never really having completed the assignment, but I brought the cards with me anyway. And she asked me how I was doing with the assignment. And I admitted that I had ended up writing them, but that I hadn't actually been reading them out loud to myself. So she asked me right then and there if I would be willing to read them out loud to her. So I picked them up and I started to read, and I was like full of embarrassment, right? It's just, you're just feeling like cruddy about yourself and you just don't want to do that. Well, here's the thing. Do you know what ended up happening? I actually started to cry. No joke, in the office, which I guess probably a lot of people do in therapy, but that wasn't something that I was used to. But at the time, these things felt so far off from my reality, and it brought up so many emotions that I wasn't prepared to deal with, and all I could do was stifle back these tears in response. And I felt absolutely ridiculous that I was having a hard time reading these. And she asked me, so why are you sad that I'm asking you to read them, or what is it about this experience? And I admitted that I felt like these things weren't really possible for me. As you know, I was actually pretty depressed at the time and pretty insecure, hence why I was in the therapy. But she reinforced to me that I needed to read them every day, twice a day, out loud to myself. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing. It started to work. The more that I read them, the easier it became to read them to myself every day. And the more that I began to actually accept them, the more positive effect it started to have on my life. And believe it or not, those things all started to come true in my life. It was crazy. I never would have thought that it would have happened. It was an exercise that I thought was stupid to begin with, and I realized that it actually had a lot more impact on me than I ever would have guessed it would have. So I have information down in the post below about you writing your own affirmations for today. So I wish you good luck. Give it a try. I know it sounds silly, but I think it'll be worth it in the end. Have a good day.